first Maggiano's experience was as a diner when I was in second grade at our Oak Brook location. I can still remember sitting on the stage and the big stuffed artichoke was there and baked clams and just it was, I can still envision sitting on that stage. And 12, 13, Maggiano Schaumburg was opening and my mom was in the hospitality industry and she actually applied for a server position. 14, 15 years old, I started working in the coat check room, just checking coats, and went to DePaul University in downtown Chicago and studied political science and music. I played the piano, and while I was going to DePaul University, worked at our Clark and Grand location, the original. There was a manager opportunity opening up and at Clark and Grand, and he kind of sat me down and he's like, do you want to be part of the team that puts the Grand back in Clark and Grand? They were going through some transitions, and I got to take over, the opportunity to take over this restaurant from the outgoing general manager, Jen Zielinski, who was a former 5-star Brinker General Manager of the Year. And easy to take over a restaurant that has some challenges, or maybe they're struggling in an area, and I'm like, wow, my first shot is taking over for a restaurant that's coming off as, you know, Brinker GM of the Year. It's like, how do you get better, right? You know? I was expecting to walk in my first day and have half the staff march on out because they're like, oh my gosh, we've had this great general manager, Jen Zielinski, for 7.5, almost 8 years that she was here. And they're like, you know, Cohen's like, how could anyone, you know, understand us? And so once I got off my first day and everyone was still here, that made things a lot more comforting.
1 minute with this man talking about Maggiano's and you can tell that this is his passion.
Once he first came aboard, the passion hit the door before he did. It's an unwavering passion for not only the concept itself, but for the people here. I mean, it's just the passion and the drive. If everybody had that, every store would be #1. And if you know Michael, you know he is a numbers man. So he knows how much my banquet cost, how much we actually made for it, so he knows the return on investment for every banquet event that I do. So
math was always a strong subject, but it wasn't a passion or something that I necessarily wanted to go into. But yeah, I'm seen as an analyst, sometimes challenging our finance department and, you know, going back and forth. But
I don't want to say he's nerdy, because I would never say that.
Just looking around, just by walking through the dining room and just feeling the vibe, I'm like, oh yeah, this was $15,000 day. And sure enough, you go kind of check back at the numbers, it's like 15.5, and I said, oh, okay, maybe I missed a couple people. So
he's numbers driven, yes, but he's also hospitality driven, which is exactly what you need. He's a great mix on both. He's kind of all over the place. He's like a whirling dervish. 1 minute he's setting a table, the next minute he's at the door greeting a guest, the next minute he's talking to a table who maybe he's seen in here before. He's a madman.
Like you can find him at any given point in the restaurant on a busy night because he'll be aware we need the most help.
You know, he's here, he's involved, he's committed, and he's that type of person, first and foremost.
He just clearly respects all of us, and he doesn't have to be over the top about it. He doesn't have to try to be best friends with all of us for us to know that he likes what we're doing, he thinks we do it well, and he has respect for all of us.
He's got great relationships with all the back-of-house teammates.
Nice looking pastas, D.
He's fluent in Spanish. I think he speaks it better than I do.
Ellos necesitan que saliera en 30 minutos.
Every one of his meetings, he always starts, and it's very inspirational. So you want to do good things for him. You want to, you know, work those extra hours to make sure that happens. You want to go above and beyond. You want to keep thinking outside of the box.
In the Italian family household, any type of conversation is centered around food. An Italian family appreciates conversation and that personal interaction, and you know, bringing that to the restaurant. You have to make the personal connection.
How are we doing here today, ladies? Everything tasty? We're having a great lunch. See, we ordered some of those classic pastas.
Treating every guest like a regular, whether it's their first time or their 20th time, making them feel like you've known them for 100 years, that they're like your brother, your sister, or your cousin and stuff like that, and just making them feel comfortable and that they're the king and queen, that they, we're here to take care of you. We're gonna have fun and welcome you back with open arms, no matter if you were just here last week or it's been 7 or 8 years or 10 years since you've been here. You're always welcome here. My family literally has been in this restaurant business, in this brand, for a good portion, almost half my life, more than half my life. And to pass on those stories to the teammates, especially someone who's new, and I can say, hey, you're starting at a minimum wage job, but I was there as well. And, if you work hard and you have a passion of, just wanting to have fun and take care of people, the world of opportunity, is kind of at your hands.
There is never a huge change that comes through that he does not completely explain the whys. I mean, we've got charts and graphs and all this in our manager meetings where he says, this is why. And then he reviews that information with us to make sure we understand why.
The teammates never really understood, what the numbers meant and how the numbers affected the restaurant. And that's something that he strived to make sure that they understand. And
that's important with the whys is, letting an individual know, I do respect you, and here's why we have to do it. And you might not agree, but I can tell you this is going to be for the greater good, and I respect the fact that you might not agree. But as a whole, you do deserve the understanding of the whys.
He's very big vitaphile. He loves wine. Very few people that I've met know more than this man. In fact, he just came back from vacation in Napa. He said for the 3rd time. So,
music, another tradition that's been in my life dating back to my great-grandmother. She played at was a teacher at the Chicago Conservatory of Music. I still have her first wedding anniversary back in, 1925. My great-grandfather gave her a baby grand piano as their first anniversary gift. I still play on that baby grand piano today. It's in my home. Life, if there's one goal I have in life, professional aside, it's to hopefully see the Cubs win a World Series before my life passes, which is not necessarily feasible, but love the Cubs. Every year, cheer for them, try and make a tradition of, for the most part, there every opening day, every year. Just doing the best I can do every day, I think, is what's important, no matter what position I'm in. And that's what I think is important to myself, that I can strive to be the best in whatever opportunities that have been provided to me.